Okay, the way I have my top mounted is, I guess you could say, simple, but also not so simple. Actually, not really. Anyways, my dad has a HPI, and he has the HPI Crawler King, the chassis frame. But my dad did not like the framing. It was just, really weak, extremely light. And my dad does not like light. His trucks are extremely heavy. And when he bought this, the only thing he liked from it was the axles, because they have the metal piece inside. I don't know what to call it, but the axle has it and it looks like some cross, but it goes in this gear, or it hooks onto the gear that is in the axle, and it's metal, so it doesn't strip like the Max Stones do, and they strip out like 3 days after I ordered it online. Then my dad didn't like it, so what he did, took everything from it and gave me the top and pretty much used it for scrap. So back to how I mounting my top. It deals with the HPI. This right here is the battery case for the HPI, and it locks on. That was weird. And it locks on to it. So we're going to put this together real quick and see, so I can show you how my top mounts on. I've seen a lot of YouTube videos, pretty cool how they show how they built their stuff, and I think it's awesome. It's just as cool as watching when people go out and test their trucks out, but having those videos where it shows how to build stuff is even cooler. Oh, I messed up, sorry. Thank God for it. My dad calls it laziness. I call it non-killing time. And that makes any sense. Okay. Let's see if I can get this zoomed in a little bit for you guys. Alright, I have these. Let me see if I can. There's better. They were shaped like this. They're wood screws, and they're sharp, screws in really good to this metal. But I played once, and I was under flexibility. It grabbed right onto my tire and poked a hole, but I sealed it with some adhesive super glue, and it holds on so far so well. So learn from your mistakes. I use my Dremel to cut the edges off so they're not so sharp, they're dull, and that's how I hold this on, this bottom plate, which is for the battery case. And you throw this together. Okay, I got the bottom piece mounted for my battery holder. It holds a LiPo. It is actually really good holding a LiPo, especially if it's a two cell. Yeah. But it also does pretty good holding a NiCab or a Nihilm battery. And then back to this, pinning the cover back on that I messed up with. Yep, there's 2 screws in the back. You see, there's one right there, and then one on the other side. And that holds the back piece, so now it's pretty much together. And as you see already, I have my 2 body mounts screwed into here, and that's what holds it on, and it does extremely well holding any battery in, and it clips in. Let's see if I can show you guys. Sorry about all that racket. And it clips in fairly, but not too fairly, because under a rock crawling situation, there's a lot of flipping, tilting, tipping, jumping. So there's a pin. Any type of pin will work as long as it's big enough to go right through. Well, hold it tight. Okay, and then that's how I have that mounted up. So sorry for this. Okay, now you're probably wondering, what type of top does this guy got? He already said that he has the HPI Crawler King, but I don't know what HPI did. I wish they, their tops were more strong and sturdy. Like, for example, this one. This is the Jeep Cherokee from Proline for a 1/10 scale axial, and it's extremely flexible, strong. Now, on the other hand, the HPI top, the HPI top, the Crawler King Jeep Cherokee, or no, Jeep Rubicon Wrangler Sport, is not so strong, and it's red. It comes with, I think I only seen red, and the other top I seen is a Bronco. Pretty nice to have that, but this is what they do. They are really flimsy. They break extremely easy, and but so far it's holding up tight. But I wish they made it stronger, because I don't know if you can see it, but this right there, this little box, you can see it because they didn't spray black over it to make it darker. There's this crack right here, and like the first day I got it, I flipped over and hardly landed on the hood, just like this, and it cracked like that, like it was a hard plastic. And that's probably why it's like this. But so far it's holding up pretty good, until I buy another top. I put my own lights in and get my battery pack so I can show you them. Okay, now I got my battery pack in, which is being powered by a 9-volt battery. Does extremely well and lasts forever. And for what, let me see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 light LEDs. It doesn't, so far it hasn't blown on me, and over night runs, and it's pretty bright. I got the from my hobby store, these two down here. You see, they're bolted on the bottom. I poked a hole through here, and then this light bar came from like a helmet, for your head, and I took that out. And then these up here came from a New Bright Range Rover top, that because it comes with 4, and I took those 2 off and poked holes behind them just for the LED to poke through, glued them in the back, soldered it all up, and then took some more of that New Bright Range Rover stuff off, the snorkel. My electronics are waterproof, so that means I do have the right to have a snorkel. I did have a radio that was not waterproof before I switched to this, and I did not have it on because it made no sense. Why have a snorkel when you can't go deep in water? But that's just me. Everybody has their own taste, and that's all cool. That's part of this hobby. Everybody can be themselves. So when I got this waterproof radio right here, I got the snorkel. Back to the top, how it's mounted. The 2 main holes that come with it are right here and right here. I just went from that, and it goes on just like that. But as you can see, it's like a honcho. There's no back. I fabricated my own. Oh, look at that Colorado I fabricated my own rear end out of some fabric that I had laying around. Works pretty good, waterproof, water resistant. I used framing to hold it together, and then a roll cage that I just threw in for looks, and you know, to protect this guy's head. And yeah, so let me put this top on real quick, and I got my top on, and this is what it looks like. I got as center as possible between here and here. When I mounted the mount, look at this, he's falling apart, just ding. That's pretty cool. That happens when you flip over a lot. And I got my rear just hanging out there, so if I want to, like the Trail Finder 2, I got kind of a mixture of all types of trucks and ideas from them. The good kind, the one that costs $400, $300 to get, but it's definitely worth the money. So I can just have my framing just sit out there under like crawling horses or comps. But I'm more of that scale guy, scaleism. I like, you know, comp's cool, but I wanted to go slower, it looked cooler when I was doing it. Alright, and for my back, when I don't feel like having the framing just stick out there, I made my own bed, I guess you can call it, out of wood, not really thick wood. This is like a few millimeters, not that thick. Alright. Oh yeah, and then before I get started, wrong way, I got my SoCo sticker, Colorado. Yeah, go SoCo. Okay, it just slides right on, just like that, because I have a spare under here, little tiny spare, and the Max Stone came with this push guard, but that was bolted right on the axles, right there. It was bolted right here, and it was just in the way. Makes no sense. Did not look scale, so I cut that off and trimmed it, or unscrewed it and trimmed it, and sanded it down, make it look clean. So I used that to cover my spare because I kept getting caught on it, ripping it off, and it looks pretty decent. Okay, so it just slides right on. And same thing with here. I am flattening the tips of the screws so they don't stab in there. Sorry about that.
Today's prediction was true.
Can I get this screw on? Okay. And then you're probably wondering what's on the screw. It is a little antenna from a remote off of one of the new brights, and I just do a flag on so when I'm out in the sand dunes, people can see me. Screw that in. Okay. And that goes on just like that. See if you can see it flopping around. And then you're probably wondering why I have this box on here. This is for off of the Helion. This is where the radio went. The water, somewhat waterproof. Waterproof radio box. And so I just took that off, used it for this, and it, you know, well, you know, to hold parts like this. You never know when that snaps. Some bolts and screws and clips, and it works pretty well to hold that stuff inside. Put these clips back in, and these tiny clips. See if my camera can. These tiny clips hold it on, just like that. And then this hole right here, this huge humongous hole, my tire wrench goes on it. This is not mine, it's my dad's, but you know, one of these. It came with the HPI crawler kit. Works extremely good. It's nice and strong. Hasn't broke on me yet because I had broke one before, and you see that it snapped under pressure, locking something, and wait. So it hasn't done that on me yet. I made my own, and then these hooks, I have my own straps. These right here. Boom, right there. They look pretty, you know, they look homemade, but they work very, very well, especially if you make them right. This is how you make them. Just common sense, really simple. Okay, well, you start off with any type of rubber band. It could be big, huge, but I use the small ones. It could be black, orange, green, so like a real one, and you just cut it in half, and then you use any type of color, or it could just be a normal one, paper clip. And what you do, you just, for example, get like some vite strips and cut it like that, and so far you have that hook, and but cut one side longer than the other, so it's like ooh. So it's like that, maybe a little more like that, so you can glue. I use super glue because it takes a little while to dry, but it stretches under pressure. And you use this piece right here and just super glue and just right together, and makes a nice bungee cord. Stretches on both sides, stretches just like a real one, and they work fairly well, especially what I have. This says on it 4-wheel drive on it, and it's on my tent. Kind of throw it right back here, and this is what they do. Alright, and they strap right on the hooks just like that. They work really well, and man, they hold it on pretty well. Pretty tight. Well, this is my, I think I went over everything. Yeah, pretty much. Alright, well, this is my d-axial. And you know, that's what I got. Can't afford to get the real axial, so you make your own. You know, I'm 15, anyone can do it. Well, yeah, comments, you know, subscribe, likes, any thoughts, go ahead, throw it down there. Alright, thanks for watching.